And what this stuff does is if there is combustion gases, exhaust inside the radiator, the cooling system, it sucks up air, and you can see the color difference there. It starts out this nice blue. If it turns yellow like this, you got a head gasket leak. Got a little Cybertruck action over there. Let's go check out this car. Hello, Monty. Looking good as always. If you run around the back here, you can see bumper delete. Here's the van, and my camera SD card filled up. So I'm going to talk you guys through what we did here. So you can see we got our head gasket leak test fluid. There's more than one way to skin a cat, you guys. So what we've already done is did a leak down test and determined that there was coolant leaking in the system somewhere. Customer's complaint is that this vehicle overheats. I did not personally get it to overheat yet. Idled it, drove it around a little bit, but it does smell like coolant. You can smell the coolant smelly smells. The other thing you can do is here is our pressure tester. You get the vehicle all warmed up, you have this pressure tester connected here, and then after the vehicle's all warmed up, it should not get above 5-ish psi on this gauge. So the gauge will be at 0, of course. Then we went ahead, ran the vehicle, and what this stuff does is if there is combustion gases, exhaust inside the radiator, the cooling system, it sucks up air, and you can see the color difference there. It starts out this nice blue. If it turns yellow like this, you got a head gasket leak. So at this point, it's like, how far do you go with this? The customer's other complaint, the upper oil pan gasket is leaking, which is kind of a bigger job. The really big job here is that the rear main seal is leaking. It leaves a considerable puddle of oil on the ground for these guys. So at this point, do you rip it down, do head gaskets, and still have old original bearings, all that stuff? Or do you replace the engine? Don't really have to deal with the head gaskets, and then when you put the used engine in it, or reman engine, you're automatically going to fix your rear main seal. So kind of got to decide what we want to do for this customer. So that is the van. I got to do a little research, get some pricing in. It's just sometimes with these older vehicles, this is the crossroads you come to. It's like, do we fix what we know the minimum problem is, or do we fix a bunch of problems and, you know, go the used motor route? It's ultimately going to be up to the customer, but it's kind of a tough call to make on a vehicle that's probably not worth a whole lot. So what do we got going on for the rest of the day? So the Lexus is out here as of this morning. That van, I'm going to put a quote together, figure that out. We might work on the bumper just a little bit. A little later this afternoon / evening, our buddy Ryan is coming out. We're tag teaming a set of head gaskets on that Chevy Express that was out there. Don't know if you saw that when we walked out, but we'll get you some footage on that. I just got the heads back from the machine shop yesterday, so one of those deals, guys. I got one stall, and it was easier to do it out there, and it's a lot easier to do with 2 people. So hopefully it goes pretty smoothly, and we can have that thing buttoned up today. You know what they say, work smarter, not harder. So this is a very nice heavy-duty piece of capped off metal. Like we talked about, it's going to be the bumper on the Mountaineer. One other thing we have to do is put our hitch mount right about here. I picked up these bits, and it's a very large set of bits. They're Harbor Freight. I think it was 45 bucks, 50 bucks. Goes from 9/16 all the way to 1 inch. So what I'm doing is I'm using the existing brackets on the Mountaineer. We'll show you when we go to mount it, but I flipped them and shortened them a little bit and then made these measurements, lined up the brackets here. So this bolt is going to go all the way through there. Now, why am I not just welding the brackets on? Well, one, I don't really trust my welder to make a strong enough weld into this really heavy bumper. The second thing is if I ever want to use this on a different vehicle someday, now I can just plug that, you know, instead of having to grind everything off. So anyway, we got to finish reaming out these holes, because the other thing we're going to do is take this piece of steel right here. This side is not drilled out, of course, but we're going to slide it through there and then weld around the opening just to kind of make a sleeve. If we have a bolt going through this side all the way down here, I don't want water and moisture in this thing to rust from the inside out. So got to finish drilling these holes, got the Milwaukee, got some penetrating fluid, and then we can start working on our sleeves. Alright, so now we can start making this count for something. So what we're going to do is I have this pipe going all the way through my bumper. I'm going to go so I just have a little bit sticking out of the end like that. And I'm going to make a mark just above the hole. So it doesn't have to be flush right now because we're going to weld it and grind it down. See that mark there? So I need 4 of these that are about this length. We're going to shove them in these holes and then weld around the perimeter. My wrist is sore. I don't have a mag drill to set on this. I don't have a drill press that will equip this thing. This is about 3/8 of an inch thick steel, so it took some doing. There were lots of multiple steps of drilling this that aren't on the camera. And then I should show you really fast to measure it, because as you can see, this has kind of rounded corners. I went out and got these billet aluminum. Gotcha. That was close. We're gonna finish explaining from here, but I went out and I bought these billet aluminum levels so that I could get a nice squared edge when I was measuring and marking for these holes. Those line up, I should get my cap on this. There. So those line up with the factory brackets that we shortened and then we narrowed, and we'll show you how we did that. We just kind of flipped them and then sucked it in closer to the rear bumper. This rear bumper, we're still going to need the corner pieces here and here, so we'll explain. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that. And then, last step to all this is I'm going to have to drill more holes. This hitch receiver is going to go right here so that we can still pull our trailer and do all that stuff. And that's a wood blade. That's not going to work. Alright, so holes are good. We got our sleeves made. Obviously these aren't like deburred or anything yet. Next thing we got to do, we got our Chinesium Harbor Freight grinder. I don't know why I don't have the Milwaukee, but this one had the flap disc on it. So we're going to remove the burrs on these holes and get the primer off of here. Then we'll drop these in and I'll show you my welds. Full disclosure, welds don't really matter because we're going to grind it all down anyway, but we'll see if we can get some pretty ones. Not a professional welder, sorry. Drinking on the job.
Just getting prepped for work.
Head gasket time. It's muggy, it's hot. We're doing it out here. We'll get you flipped around, kind of show you what's going on. But I said this was coming today, and now the time has come. Show you what we're working with here. Chevy Express. Step 1, get the tarp off. Alright, so I'm an idiot and I forgot to clean off the deck, so you gotta do that quick. Be careful using the super scraper. These things work great, but you don't want to overdo it. You can see it's getting all that crap off of there. Sit here and work on this for a bit. You can see these 2 cylinders right here are full of coolant. That's where the big crack in the gasket was. Tip you forward, you see that coolant sitting down in there? Wonderful. I love my job. So we're at the point now. We got the little hazard fart air compressor and we got the extension cord going way over there. We're gonna blow the coolant out of these bolt holes, the head bolt holes and the cylinder, stuff like that. We got it pretty clean, so we gotta get this done.
Hey, make sure you bang every spark plug on the exhaust manifold as you go in.
You want every spark plug to hit the exhaust manifold?
Yep, it really helps with continuity and shit.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Porcelain's tough, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh,
Nice glass.
I know these are aluminum, but I'm a... You got it?
We can reach it out.
You okay?
Yep, I got it.
Oh, shit. God damn it. Why is this manifold in the way? Oh, there. I'm on my little... Good? Good?
Sitting pretty.
Look at that.
Slap a bolt through it, right now.
Put a bolt through it. Torque it to 500 foot-pounds.
5 525.
525.
Oh,
Roger Dodger. I'm just gonna put one in each corner here.
it's just a peg.
Oh, that's a little one though.
Yeah, just throw one or something. Peg.
Just peg it. We're having fun. I don't know. I've had fun before. This ain't it. That ain't going anywhere. Let's do the other side. They're a lot heavier when you have to lay down. You turning?
Barely.
Turn and burn, baby. I guess the point in this is kind of just to show you what my life looks like on a daily basis. You know, shop is small. We're actually outside right now, which wasn't a huge deal because we're working inside the doghouse, obviously. Anyway, so with one stall, I couldn't have this thing sitting while I was waiting for cylinder heads. I'm across an alley. It was like a right angle to get this school bus. You know, if I would have done the work in the shop and then pushed it outside, was just way easier to do it this way. So Ryan actually went to his shop to grab a torque wrench because mine didn't go down far enough, and then obviously the inch-pound torque wrench isn't going to work. So we're just hanging out waiting. We have the cylinder heads on now, and when he comes back we can torque them down. The plan tonight is just to get the cylinder heads torqued down to spec, get the rockers and push rods back in, valve covers on. We're going to call it a night and then finish it tomorrow. Last step of the night, torque down the cylinder heads. What did you bring?
Got an angle gauge.
Angle gauge. I've never used one of these, but it's pretty cool in concept. I've always just paint marked the bolts and then done it that way, but this is probably what you should use. It's 90 degrees on the first pass and then 70 degrees on the second pass.
Why's a man always got to be living in the doghouse?
You're an idiot. Stay in school, kids. You might end up a auto mechanic.
Yeah, do drugs, living on the street. This is where you end up.
Gonna try best we can here to get you up close and personal. So here's how this works basically, up close and personal. So these bolts have to go to 90 degrees. So you get this gauge on here. 0 is where that black line is, and as he starts turning it, it's going to slowly create that angle. And we're gonna go all the way, it's almost there, it's hard to see, 90, right there. So you just go ahead and do all your passes that way, and then we gotta do the rest of them at 70 degrees after this. Some guys say you can reuse these head bolts. I bought new ones because I don't like that. Anytime you're doing angles, you know, that's intense. Technically, these are torque to yield bolts, so rule of thumb is do not reuse these. There's guys that say you can. I bought new ones. It was $38. It's very cheap insurance. I would hate to have to do this twice or have a bolt go righty-loosey. So yeah, we'll get this done. Now the upper row. 25 foot-pounds. Beep. It's mad at me. I'm just waiting for this to slip and ram my heads into this, or ram my hands into this top of the head where it's sharp.
You didn't need all the skin on your knuckles, did you?
Apparently not. That's what it's there for, right?
Extra? Yeah, you had extra.
Okay. That's what it looks like, you guys. Day in the life. We got a mess. We're dirty. Heads are torqued down, so now we can go through and do valve covers, intake, get all the injectors hooked up, all that piddly little stuff. So the bulk of the work is done. Just button it up, get some fluids in it. Today you got from about 8 in the morning to 10 o'clock at night, and this isn't normal. I'm not always here till 10 o'clock, but sometimes, you know, you're your own boss. You gotta do what it takes. So just wanted to bring you along, kind of show you what a day looks like. And yes, very small shop, so we ended up working on this one outside, but you know what? I'm grateful every single day that I was able to leave the dealership and do my own thing, so just wanted to share with you guys. If you enjoyed the video, drop me a comment down below, like and subscribe if you have not already, and as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.